All right, everybody, welcome back to UFTA Premium, and we are going to talk about yet another important topic, and that is budgeting in UFTA. I mean, that sounds boring, right? It's like, oh God, what? We're going to talk about finance? Well, the major appeal of UFTA is budgeting. These things change with every game session, and it's very hard to pin down. You know, you try your best to plan, things happen, and you got to make adjustments on the fly. And so what we're going to do in this particular video example is we're going to give different scenarios that indicate to us what we should do as far as budgeting goes. And you know, what do I mean in budgeting? Well, it's kind of the same in real life. It's just how much do you plan to earn, and then how much do you plan to spend, right? And you know, obviously you want to come out on top if you can, right? And so that's kind of the point of this. And so the scenario I've set up here, you can see for yourself. In this corner, this person has a disc. They have the adversity card. They have market tokens sitting there, and what do we got? 25 tokens in their general funds. In this corner, we have the harvester. We got 20 tokens in our general funds. Then we've got 15 marker tokens sitting on top of a very nice adversity card. And then over here, we're in very good shape because we have two resource items: cultivator, seeder. We've got 15 tokens in general funds, and then we got 10 tokens of marker tokens. And then we have an adversity card. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to play a brief round, and we're going to see how each player needs to budget at this particular point in the game. Beginning with player A, we're going to take a look at our stuff. You know, we have enough general funds that we have some freedom to maybe at this point go after 2 crop combos. Let's take a look, see here. What do we got going on? Always in UFTA, you want to look at those fluctuating market values and see if you can't score big, right? So in this particular case, we have what's strong in the market. We got corn, bean, radishes at the top. We have corn, but we don't have another crop to go along with it. We don't happen to have the trading house right now. I'm sorry, the greenhouse. That would make a huge difference. Oh, and so would the trading house. But here are the things. This is a good. This is a critical moment because this person has to figure out: do they want to do a 2-crop combo? When you commit to doing that, you have to figure out the costs of production in a 4-phase system. And right, you know, you're limited by two actions on your turn. You can't bring everything to harvest in one turn. So you have to figure out that other things are going to be happening as you're trying to accomplish this goal. Well, work that is done on multiple field spaces is always going to be an elevated price of 200 tokens per workspace, right? And so, you know, I'm thinking about, well, other than the obvious fact that it's going to cost more to bring this 2-crop combo in, I'm also thinking about the fact that this person owns the disc. So there's 2 factors going on here. There's the cost that is outgoing. You're contributing to your opponents because you have to pay them to do a vital feature of on your farm. But then there's also the costs that are reduced by whatever assets you have. And so in this case, those costs are offset. You know, I have one item here. I got the handy harvester. It's super awesome and very cool because at the end of the game it can make a huge difference. I have this harvester, and I am going to, every time I do any production at all in my fields, I'm going to knock off one phase of production by owning that thing. And so it's only going to cost me 4 tokens. I mean, it's going to cost me 4 tokens less if I take advantage of this harvester, right? So whatever I plant, I know I can save some funds there. But in this corner, because they own the disc, you know, I'm beholden to them. They have to, I have to pony up, and I have to spend on them, give them some cash so I can borrow that disc, right? And so that's where things just kind of balance each other out. So how would I budget then? Let's just never mind the 2-crop combo. How would I budget this? What would be the final cost? The question to you, viewer, is what would be my final cost if this person owns a disc, this person owns a harvester, and this person over here owns a seeder and the cultivator, right? Because don't forget, they're going to be asking for funds too, right? I don't own a farm crew yet, right? Can't do stuff for free. So what are my total costs going to be? Well, you know, this is where things get tricky. I'm going to have to pay them 1 token for the disc. I'm going to have to pay them 2 tokens to seed and cultivate. But then harvesting is free, right? And so normally you would say, oh, well, it only costs 3 tokens. I mean, 4 tokens, right? Normal crop production. You don't have any benefits yet. All of that would go into the hunger depository, right? And that would be that. Wow. Now we have a different scenario. Other people have resources, and now your funds are supplying them, right? And so if you're okay with you know, 2 items going to them, 1 item going to them, but it costs you nothing to have the harvester, that means it's going to be 3 tokens, right? So that's all good and fine. That's for 1 item. But now I have to figure out if, in fact, I want to do a 2-crop combo. You know, let's say I definitely have another item ready. Let's say the carrots. Just for the sake of the example, we have corn and carrots. Check one more time at our tray. Here we have corn and carrots, so we're set up for the 2-crop combo, right? So now, that was budgeting for a single item. Now let's budget for 2 items at the same time, right? Well, given the same circumstances, now I know that my competitor, every time I do work on multiple field spaces at the same time, I'm going to be paying an added cost, right? Elevated price of 2 tokens. This person is going to score 4 tokens off of me instead of 1. And this person is going to score 8, right? And wait, why? You say, wait a minute, why is that? Well, if they own the disc, I'm going to disc over 2 fields at once. That's my elevated price of production. That's 4 tokens. Goes to them. Next 2 faces are monopolized over here by these. This particular grower, we have seeder and cultivator. So there's 4 more tokens outgoing, and then to cultivate, it's 4 more tokens, right? Okay, so already I'm out 4, 8, 12 tokens, right? 12 tokens are going to be going to my competitors, and what's more, and this is why budget projections are pretty hard, right? It's because now you have to think about risk. And what is the risk? Well, these items are vulnerable once again. We have adversity cards sitting over here. We got an adversity card sitting over here. So now I have to assess the threat level against me. And I have to say, well, how much funds do I need to think about protection, right? You know, I'm very vulnerable. So I'm going to have to figure out, I already know I've got 8 tokens going to them, 4 tokens going to them. That's all good and fine, but what are they going to maraud me with, right? And so now you have to have even more tokens besides the original 16 tokens, right, that were allotted for just regular crop production, the elevated price at working on multiple fields simultaneously. Well, now I have to figure in a budget simply for defense. And so I have to decide, well, you know, if they have an adversity card and they have an adversity card, that's potentially, you know, remove 4 items of value from me, right? So if they do that, I would really need to be completely safe. And this is again where the shifting values, shifting priorities in UFTA will keep you on your toes, right? Because you have to think, well, how much do I allocate for a defense budget, right? And I don't want to overspend on defense, but I certainly don't want to underspend, because again, I'm very vulnerable, and I have to allot a certain amount in order to protect my investment, right? So here is what I'm going to spend. I've decided, let's say the worst of the worst can happen. Both adversity cards get played against me. In this particular case, we got, let's say, 2 crops are going to ravage me. I don't know, cyst nematodes, and then we got drought or something over here. At this particular point, again, my assessment is based on the fact that I have no protections. I don't have farm crew, I don't have crop insurance, I don't have the organic sprayer, and I don't have greenhouse. All those things, all those wonderful things that I provide either partial or full protection. Those things are missing from my stockpile over here, and so I'm in a risky spot. I have to spend more on defense, and so I have to spend big here, and I also have to spend big here, right? Really, I need to commit 10 tokens to this, right? Okay, so now, here's another interesting point. When you're budgeting, notice how I've run out of general funds, right? Because now everything is tied up into marker token protection, right? We've spent too much maybe on defense. We've got nothing left in our general funds for day-to-day activities, right? And so that's why it can be very tricky to do this. Am I prepared to have a tractor audit at this particular time? Let's say, for instance, one of my goals, and it should be many times, is to go after that undercut crop. And let's say, looking at my tray again, in this particular case, lo and behold, look what I have. I mean, I have a very important item. I'm chasing that undercut crop. I want to plant some peas, right? I want to score big, what is it? Go home? Go big or go home? That's what we got right here, Chief. And so we have peas. We want to keep that in our tray. Well, what's the case here? I'm out of funds. So generally what happens when you're out of funds, you have to do that tractor return, and it's gonna be like, oh man, I know that they're gonna want to take those peas from me, right? That's something of value. So now I have to think on an even on another level, and I have to think, well, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Okay, so if I allocate my funds to protect all this, it's trouble. So what's the other option I have? Experienced UFTA players, right? Played many games. The other item is liquidation. Here we have, what do we got? We got a card. It's got 15 tokens on it, right? So we got 15 bad boys on there. Those can be liquidated so that I still have some general funds to bring these into the market. And notice how when it comes to marker tokens on adversity cards, I can only take off 5 of those at a time. Right? So the most I can take is 5 tokens off of there. But this will cover me, this will cover me for now. And there's also one more consideration on this particular turn, and that is that even though I have the marker tokens here, those can help pay for the harvest phase, because remember, that's the only phase of crop production that allows for marker tokens that were not liquidated, that were still doing their job protecting that crop. Those are they can be converted to hunger tokens and then help pay for that final phase of production, right? So that's a really cool deal. I mean, that's a true benefit to you, if you think of it. So anyway, we've liquidated our funds, we have general funds, and now I don't have to do a tractor audit. So this is great. I have plenty of protection, and over here, nothing can happen, right? And so that is a point in case where, I budgeted, I've carefully considered what's in my budget. You know, I have to pay other people. You know, the next go around, let's say, it might involve planting these peas, right? I want to get these peas out of my weight cue tray, right, before they get a tractor return might happen in the future, right? So I get those peas, I get them planted out here, then they'll be protected. So yeah, that's what that is. And then of course, the nice thing is, yeah, I have to pay them to cultivate and seed. Oh yeah. Okay, so here we made a we got to do a timeout. Before I put this amount to be liquidated, I have to remember I have to pay I have to pay everyone else, right? So here's a case where I schmucked up. I have to figure out what it costs to disc, right? So they get 5 tokens. I get a 1 back. That was to disc. And then over here, it was to seed. So we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. We seeded, and now we have to pay them. I get 1 back. Okay. All right. So there's the new budget, right? Okay. So yeah, in this particular case, I figured out I paid them to seed, and I paid them to disc. So here we go. Here we go. So we're going to roll the dice over here. In this particular direction, we're going to gamble. Yeah, we're going to gamble. Oh, time out. Before we do this, this person needs to figure out how much funds to allocate to defense. As I was saying, okay, so we did that. We know we still have to pay them to cultivate, so we need at least 4 more tokens. And then we can harvest for free, so we have 5 tokens there. Now we have to figure out what to protect, right? So, yeah, in this case, we're going to protect like this. Right? We have the marker tokens protecting the corn and the carrots. The corn has 10 extra tokens, the carrots have 5. Okay, so over here's a 1. I'm sorry, they rolled a 3, so there's a gamble. 1. Okay, so you're going to pay 3 tokens. And they're going to be productive. This particular grower has 2 items that mitigate the burden of cost production, and so we are going to, we have plenty of funds. First thing we're going to do is we're going to check and see, is it worth playing this adversity card, right? Decisions in Uktar get pretty difficult in the final stages, and this one's no different. We have 10 tokens sitting on here. We're going to lose all the tokens if we play the card. Oh yeah, remove 2 crops, right? So that seems like a good idea. So we're going to go ahead and play that. We're going to see what happens here in real time. We're going to liquidate the card. We're going to salvage 5 tokens off of there. Free that up, and then we're going to play the card. We lose the 5 tokens. Play the card on this person. Remove 2 crops from the field. Now, what do? As always, I start with the uppermost layer, the marker tokens. Uppermost layer is 5 and 10. This person can choose which marker tokens to take off. They want to take off, let's say, everything off of the corn. It goes back in the depository. All right, now this person's turn proceeds. They have 2 actions available. Let's see what's in their weight cue tray. We got spinach and beans, so excellent 2-crop combo opportunity for them. And now we're going to budget for this person, right? They own the seeder, they own the cultivator. That means that's 8 tokens saved every time they do crop production, right? You know, you got 2 items, multiple work on field spaces. Work on multiple field spaces is going to be diminished by 8 tokens. So it's going to only cost me 8 tokens to bring that in. Still have to pay them though. Okay, but that's what we're going to do. So we're gonna disc. We're gonna pay 4 to them. Now over here, we're gonna plant our best stuff. We got beans and spinach. Wow, look at that. These are on the right field too, which improves our odds of scoring an UFTA. Right? 2-crop combo plus UFTA is pretty powerful stuff, let me tell you. If your goal is to win, that's not a bad strategy. Okay, so there's that. So we got that, and we got beans and spinach. Final step is going to be to allocate funds for market token protection. How much do we want to declare? We got adversity cards threatening over here. So we're gonna protect. We're gonna opt for full protection and see what happens. Yeah, so we only need, so here's a case where you need to figure out what's the final budget for bringing these into harvest. I'm going to have to pay them, the owner of the harvester. The owner of the harvester is going to get, 4 tokens from them. So I have that in my general fund, so I'm good to go, right? Over here. Let's see what we got. Ooh, sabotage opportunity. Okay, so now this grower has the option to figure out who to sabotage, right? It's difficult to say, this person may be out of luck, right? So here's a case where budgeting on my part, at least at this particular grower, might have been a failure. Because we failed to protect the corn. This person has sabotage. The corn is going to come off in there. And moreover, that was a doubly great move, right? Why was that a doubly great move? You got to think about that for a second. Okay, the reason this was a doubly great move on this particular grower's part is because I disrupted their 2-crop combo over here by shifting something in the market. They got spinach and beans. I moved their beans down, right? Yikes! Opportunity to score is severely diminished. Then, oh yeah, the other thing that I did was I sabotaged this grower over here. They lost their corn. So I went on the attack and I managed to decrease the probability of both growers scoring, right? Over here, they lost their corn, so they lost potentially 10 tokens. Over here, a huge diminishment in score because we disrupted 2-crop combo, which ultimately could have given this grower somewhere in the vicinity of, I want to say, 30 to 40 points, right? So 30 to 40 points thwarted over there, 10 points thwarted over here. Excellent, excellent use of this person's ability to play defense. Okay, so now they're going to finish out their offense. They're going to disc. They're going to disc, and then they're going to plant everything. What do they have? They've got carrots. They don't have beans. Yeah. So this person is instead, for the sake of variety, what they're going to do is they're just going to make one purchase. They're going to purchase the trading house, right? They want to purchase the trading house, and then they want to, let's see, what can they do? As far as the trading house goes, they want to grab up something that provides 2-crop combo. So they're going to grab some beans out of here. Right? I have beans. And we'll get rid of broccoli on this. Alright, so broccoli moves down. Looking very nice in this corner. Okay, so we have broccoli. And we're going to plant some peas. Next go around. Okay, so there's trading house. We sabotaged, we disked, and we bought the trading house. our turn is almost done, but except some of the good habits, you know, I have a lot of bad habits, like most people. Here's a good habit in UFTA to develop. What you want to do is make sure you go over that checklist of actions and activities. If you still have activities available, you definitely need to take advantage of them. Here I have the activity of playing the adversity card available. It only has 5 tokens on it. It's only 5 tokens, so it's a diminished penalty for playing the card. Turn 3 crafts previous status. Yeah, I think we want to do that, right? Another important point that should be factored into the decision of playing the adversity card is, of course, whether or not the growing season is nearing its final step, right? The final round. Okay, so let's say there's added pressure you know, they have added pressure to play the card, right? Because we got spinach, squash is up next. That's going to be the end of the growing season, and so they are going to be compensated over there for with 10 tokens, right? And so they're not sure whether they should play this card or not. In this particular case, let's take another look at it. Return 3 crops to previous status, right? There it is. Return 3 crops to previous status. So that's kind of a weaker card, right? You know, you're not removing anything, but you're just moving them back a phase, right? And so if you're moving them back a phase, that's a weak card, you might just want to keep the card. So I think in this case, that's what we're going to do. So let's see what happens now. Gambles, not going to happen. I could allocate funds from the adversity card with my activity to fund the general funds category so that I can gamble, but I don't think I want to do that. Over here is productive. And so hopefully this example has shown you, demonstrated the different levels of thinking and all the different conditions that have to be factored into good decision making when it comes to you know, defense allocation, how to budget for different types of crop production, single crop harvest versus multiple crop harvest, 2 crop combos, or even more if you want to do that. You know, let's say you acquire the farm crew and you're ready for production on every field that you have. That's great, but you also have to figure out, well, what am I going to budget for that? So anyway, these are the things you have to bounce around, you have to consider and maybe think a little bit more deeply about in order to get a good handle on the deeper UFTA strategies that are present in UFTA Premium, right? All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed these examples. I certainly did. You know, when I play these in real time, I have to adjust to what actually happens, and that is sort of the appeal of UFTA. Figuring out things on the fly and making adjustments as we go along. So anyway, I appreciate your attention, and thank you very much for listening. Bye, everybody.